Okay, so now that we know the differences between the three lists and the two sublists, it's time to see them in action. So as you can see, I have a fairly simple index.html setup on my server. You can see it's 3.3.3.4, and I've searched for my own IP address, which is, it's in my local network, so it's 3.3.3.5. And you can see that I have also generated some incidents already. I've tested, I've added some stuff, and now let's show you the magic. You can see that there are 3 buttons here. One of them is for the grey list, one of them is for the white list, one of them is for the black list. Of course, this is not the only way to add this IP address to any of these lists, but let's start from here, because looking for incidents is something you can do, and we encourage people to do, because this way you can make sure that an IP address is really bad or really good. So it's just always a good idea to see. If you want to search for an IP address, simply just type it in to the top here and just click on the big red button, and you will be greeted by this page. All right, so now that we will add my IP address to the grey list, and what we will see is this takes a little bit of time, of course, because firstly, you will see that this is indeed added to your grey list, and this is on your grey list right now, and it's only on one user's grey list, which is you right now. But if this IP address, let's say it was on 2 other users' grey list as well, then it would then be able to proceed to the global grey list versions. And what this means is, if I go over to my little website here, and keep in mind that you have to wait a little bit because it takes some time in order to get this IP to the server itself. If I refresh this page, I'm seeing a browser entity check. This way we can, and see, I'm able to check this page, refresh it anytime I want, and it works. And if I refresh this page as well, you will see that I'm no longer on the grey list and that I have resolved a browser integrity check. You can see everything here, and the thing with this is this browser integrity check will only come up once for an IP address during a browsing session. This ensures that if it's a real user that somehow ended up on your grey list, let's say it was a dynamic IP address allocated to them and it was already on a grey list, this way they will not be too bothered. They do not have to fill out the CAPTCHA, they will not fear what that is. They will just pass on to the site without anything happening really, and you can still be sure that your websites are safe, because this integrity check will not let bots through. Or if, let's say, this wasn't a false positive, the guy was trying to hack your website and he ended up on the grey list. Let's simulate that scenario as well. Let's add myself to the grey list again. And yes, so I'm on my grey list again. And of course the first sentence has changed because it's the new one. And let's see what happens if we wait a little bit and refresh the website. Yes, as I said, it takes a little bit of time. So I will get back to you once it finishes. Yes? Okay, so now that we have triggered the CAPTCHA page, this is what a bot would see, or somebody who have passed the browser integrity check once, got removed from the grey list and then ended up on it again. So in this scenario, all they really have to do is fill out the CAPTCHA page and then click on the list. And you can see we are ready to go. I'm able to navigate to the website, I'm able to check it. And if we go back to here, you will see that I have resolved it with a CAPTCHA. So this is very good because you can also see that I'm here. My little IP address is sending a new request to the CAPTCHA HTTP. And you can see that this way bots have no way of getting onto the machine without real humans experiencing too many troubles. So let's try blacklisting my IP address. You will see it pops up a little comment. I will just add course test. And we have added this IP address to the blacklist. You can see that this is on your personal blacklist. This personal means that it's on your local blacklist. If this IP address was added to the global one, you will see this is on global blacklist. So that will be trouble. And you can see that right now the loading is just spinning, and even though I'm still saying this is the old website, but let's say we go this and it's nothing. And it's just spinning, just spinning, just spinning, and eventually we will get this site cannot be reached, and it took too long to respond. So this means that I am blacklisted. I have no way of connecting to the server whatsoever. And then you can just remove it if you wish. Yes. And you also have the chance to whitelist this IP address, which is, let's say, whitelist testing. Success. I've been whitelisted. Now if we refresh the site, it's working perfectly fine. And now if we add this IP to the greylist, so let's say I was on the greylist for some reason before, and I'm also whitelisted. This will mean that even though I'm greylisted, I will no longer see the captcha page, so I can just navigate the site without ever worrying. So this is what I mentioned when I've told you that if you have an office IP, let's say, or your own personal IP address, if you whitelist that, it will have no effect, like no greylist or no blacklist can stop it. So it's always a good idea to make sure to only whitelist IPs that you absolutely trust. Okay, so let's remove this IP from our greylist for now, and let's go into the firewall section. Okay, so in order to get here, you just have to click on the firewall, and then you can see that we have separate lists for blacklist and whitelist. And you can see that my blacklist is completely empty. We can just go like this, and we can also choose which server, because if you have multiple servers, we can do that. And just click on the IP, and you can see I'm able to edit some comments like this. And you can also add an expiration date. So this is what I said by time to live, is that let's say we wait 1 minute and it should be removed. So in the meantime, let me show you something else. You might notice that besides IP address, you can also blacklist countries and ASNs. So, and it's not just for blacklisting, it's for whitelisting too. We will get into that in a moment. But by blacklisting a country, let's say your clients are all over Europe, or mainly in the UK, and you know that you will never receive any connections from Bulgaria, let's say. But at the same time, you can see that the most attacking country for your machine is Bulgaria. So if you're extremely sure that no connection should come from Bulgaria and no one should be able to purchase from Bulgaria because you don't ship there or your clients don't ship there, you can just add this country to the blacklist. And you will see that any IP address that has attempted to come from Bulgaria, they will just see the timeout message, because they shouldn't be able to connect to your machine. But with blacklisting countries, you have to be extremely sure that you are 100% sure about blacklisting that exact country, because then no IP address from that country is able to connect to your machine. Also, an ASN is available to blacklist, and this way you can, let's say you're getting a DDoS attack, so like that's distributed denial of service attack, and the problem with that is that it usually comes from multiple IP addresses, many thousands even, and if they are on the same ASN, you have the chance and the ability to blacklist them at once, hence eliminating the problems if that is necessary. And let's see, we have set up the IP and it should expire soon. So on the meantime, let's check the whitelisting, and you can see that the whitelisted IP address that I've added is here, and I'm whitelisted still. I can navigate to the site, everything is fine. You can also similarly whitelist countries, but this feature you have to keep in mind, it's the same as your normal whitelist. So if you whitelist, let's say, I don't know, the UK, then what will happen is any IP address connecting from the UK will have no trouble connecting to the machine. But at the same time, if they are attackers or hackers coming to the machine, BitNinja will not try to stop them. So whitelisting a country is usually never a good idea. But in certain edge cases or scenarios where you want to be extremely sure that nothing happens during, I don't know, like Black Friday, you can whitelist a country, but still that is a very harsh step in a direction. So you have to make sure that you are absolutely sure about whitelisting a country. Similarly, ASN works the same way as the blacklisting part.